All right, it's time to break down all the latest in tech news this week, and that's why I'm here at the special touchscreen. I just touched it. First up, the airport security line getting a revamp. Starting next month, TSA is rolling out, get this, a self-screening security checkpoint for pre-check passengers at the airport in Las Vegas. Kurt, the CyberGuy, joins us with his take. So how would this work, where you self-screen?
Well, it would be like this. It would be like going to an ATM machine or, any other kiosk where you like self-checkout we were talking about earlier in the week. But now at the airport, good morning to you, Steve. It's called Screening at Speed program of the TSA, security at the airport. Their idea is get rid of the people, put them in a more of a exception mode where they're standing around, but you really do all the work. And it's sort of self-serve to check yourself in. Now, they're going to be testing these concepts. One of them sounds really interesting, where you put your bag in, and it's either on a conveyor belt or it's inside of a pod that then moves on. And then as you're doing that, it's actually screening you. It's noticing what you're pulling out of your pockets. It's scanning your body, and you just keep walking. There's not that moment to even wait. So you can imagine the speed increases that are possible at the airport. The question really remains, and we'll be watching this very closely. Does it really catch what it is that we're worried about when passengers show up at the airport with bad intentions?
Okay, next up, bad Apple. On my Apple Watch, just moments ago, I did my blood oxygen because it does not do blood alcohol at this point. But the blood oxygen said I'm like at 95%. This is a big problem for Apple, and in fact, they're going to stop selling a couple of them because did they steal somebody's technology?
Well, they would say no, and it's Massimo you're talking about, and Massimo, which if you go to the hospital and you're in, you're admitted, and they put that thing on your finger to measure the oxygen in your blood, that is likely made by Massimo. Those are the people that have that SpO2 monitor. Well, they filed some patents. Apparently, Apple says after Apple came out with this technology, and they don't think that's very fair. So there's this big dispute going on. But what has happened is that Apple has actually taken these two latest Apple Watches off the market effective tomorrow. If you want the Ultra 2, which is the latest, greatest Apple Watch, or the Series 9, the very latest regular Apple Watch, today is your last day. They will stop selling them tomorrow. And then, interestingly, President Biden sits with the decision of whether they'll be able to restart these sales. Effective December 25th is the deadline where he can say, okay, I'll let that happen. And then we go and look at the board of directors for Apple, and you say, well, who's on that board? Oh, Vice President Gore.
How handy.
What have those back channel calls been like? I've tried to push on Apple. I've tried to push at the White House. I haven't heard any background on whether or not they've actually been in discussions, but certainly Apple hopes that will happen. But they're working on a technical solution where they'll realign it so they might be able to regain those sales later.
You haven't heard from the White House. I'll have Peter Doocy yell at the president, and maybe he can get an answer. Finally,
I sent him an email.
Smart cards. Finally, AI, rather than killing off humanity, is going to help the people at Instacart and Amazon shop smarter?
This is wild. So Amazon and Instacart, where you order groceries for online, they actually bought one of these shopping cart technologies, AI shopping. You get in, and it's a physical shopping, not online. You go to the store, mainly grocery stores, and the cart itself has the display on it. As you put groceries in it, it's calculating how much you're spending. So if you're on a tight budget, you say, I don't want to go over 100, it's going to measure it, and then you never check out at a checker because you've associated your credit card with that cart, and it'll be the future. Undoubtedly, keep your eye on this for 24. And by the way, we're tracking two stories this morning, also, Steve, an uptick in a Russian malware attack and also holiday shopping scams for shipping notifications. Be on the lookout.
All right, check it all out. Go to CyberGuy, C-Y-B-E-R guy.com. Look at that. I made my own graphic.
You're the best.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you, sir.